Hi, this is Wim and Koen from Xpenditure. The question today is not, is there a solution for expense management? But we have come to a point that people ask themselves, which is the best solution for expense management? So we believe that although Europe is a very fragmented market, people traveling and spending around the globe, expense management still remains a local challenge. But behind every challenge lies an opportunity. So that's why it's important that we, as expense management provider and banks well presented here in the audience, bundle our forces in order to cope with that local fragmentation. 2 years ago, on this very stage, we announced the launch of real-time expense management simply by eliminating the expense note. In the meantime, companies like Henkel, Deloitte, Miele, Scania, and others, they are saving a lot of time thanks to Xpenditure. But today, we would like to show you the importance of transaction data as a part of that real-time process. But first, let us give you a quick recap of the product. So as you can see on the screen, Xpenditure will give you a clear overview of all your expenses. And in fact, there are several ways to get the expense data in the system, but the most common way is simply by taking a picture of the receipt through the mobile application. Xpenditure will scan the receipt and will automatically extract all the relevant information, like the merchant name, the date, the currency, and also the amount. Once you have successfully submitted the expenses for approval, as Koen is showing at the moment, you can either easily approve all the expenses with one single click, or in case of a violation against the company rule, you can isolate and reject an expense, and all the rest will go through to accounting. To fully close that loop, it's important to get transaction data in on a daily basis, rather than at the end of the month via a monthly statement. In fact, automizing the matching between receipt data and payment data gives the cardholder the advantage of correct currency conversion and a waterproof reconciliation. In fact, the time saving for all is considerable. Today, we already have several partnerships running, including MasterCard in the US via US Bank, but also in Canada and Brazil, or, for example, in Belgium with Belfius Bank and with ING across Europe. Another good example of such an integration is the one we did with one of our friends, DirectID, a British integrator. In fact, through the connection with DirectID, it doesn't only give us access to our thousands of banks across 32 countries, but it also shows you how easy it can be to connect a bank with Xpenditure in order to have real-time matching. So as you can see on the screen, Koen will now select the bank where he wants to connect with. And after he puts in his personal login details, DirectID will make a secure connection with the bank, and that way they will verify the authentication details. Once this is done, DirectID fetches all the transactions of all the cards linked to that account for the last 90 days, and from that moment on, the cardholder will receive the new transactions on a daily basis, which allows, in fact, real-time matching. So in fact, what is important for us, that it is very interesting to see, with one single authentication process, we can in fact access a lot of transaction data linked to one account. In other words, it means that a company, somebody from the accounting department, for example, they do a connection with the corporate account with Xpenditure, and we will automatically distribute and in fact provide all the different transaction data to the relevant cardholder. The time saving here compared with the old method is significant. So we are all familiar with the fragmentation in the banking landscape in Europe, but again, every country has its own set of regulations. And this brings us to the complexity of accounting for foreign VAT. Did you know that here in Europe, 8.5 billion euro is not reclaimed as foreign VAT? It is simply a staggering amount of money. And in fact, the reason is simple. It's such a time-consuming and cumbersome process to do so, knowing that every country has its specific rules. But the nice thing is that Xpenditure can deliver real receipt data towards companies specialized in this VAT matter. For example, our partnership that we have done with FinovateEurope. But let us show you how this works. So, first of all, you have a list of all the expenses that are already reported in your accounting software. With one single click, we will sort them by category and per country, and you can export this into a file to generate, in fact, local VAT reclaim in all the different countries. But the most easy way is the direct connection that we make with a select list of partners like FinovateIT. So to conclude, by creating new services and added value partnerships on top of our core expense management solution, we are heading towards the next level of expense management. In fact, it allows us to fully outsource expense management, where Xpenditure will do controlling and approval, even auto-reimbursement, and even we can do rewarding to incentivize people or employees to spend less. That way, the company can really focus on their core business, and in fact, filing expenses will not be more than just taking a picture of the receipt. So we are really convinced that the fragmentation we are all familiar with creates new opportunities in order to build services that meet the needs of European businesses. So that's why it's important that banks and Xpenditure bundle their forces. So I want to thank you for your attention, and we would like to invite you at our booth together with a nice, fresh Belgian beer. Thank you very much.